Hey folks, this is your weekly video for English 1301. It is week 5, so we're chugging right along. I want you to just kind of have a heads up that this may be information that needs to be broken apart into 2 separate videos, but we'll see. So the first thing I want to do is to go over our syllabus, but first I want you to note that the syllabus has been updated in a couple of ways, just the schedule part. So if you printed or downloaded the previous version, just make sure that you're updating that so you're working with the most updated and revised version that is posted not only in the weekly content area, but also in the content overview area where there will always be the updated version of the syllabus. So I'm going to pull that up. Give me a moment. So if we're looking at week number 5, here we are. So I updated here that instead of the paper portfolio assignment video, I'm actually going to start us off with the annotated bibliography assignment. So that's a shift. I'm not going to upload any information about the paper portfolio until next week because I think this is, upon further review, I think a better place to start is with what we need to do in terms of research and not just dive head first into the overall paper portfolio assignment. So this is a shift. Again, annotated bibliography this week instead of the paper portfolio rubric and video. Okay, so everything's posted, of course, and I do have a reminder here to keep up with your reading journal because it is due this week. This is something that I neglected to include in that sample calendar that I uploaded. So I corrected that and have now uploaded the proper information. So you'll see here for Monday, this is information I included in the grades video. So if you didn't watch that, I really recommend that you do, but it also includes some information about this, right? So check D2L for that information. You may want to include Tuesday, read for Wednesday's writing journal, or if you have something due in another class, it's just a way to kind of keep things and be able to check them off. So Wednesday, you'll submit your writing journal and the due time is here. Thursday, I just put, a little note, have you completed the quick participation quiz? So we're just gonna continue on trying the participation quizzes instead of including information in your writing journals or any of the posts for this week. It's a lot more writing for you and we already have quite a bit. And the quizzes are just easy to just go in and choose the options. It is visible last week. I know there was an issue with some of y'all not being able to see that. It should be corrected, but let me know if not. So those are going to just be what we do going forward. It's just a way to encourage you to make sure that you've watched the videos so that if you have any questions, you know that those are the resources to go to first. So those will now start having a due date and time of Sundays at 11:59 p.m. I really just start making it a habit on Mondays to, if you have the time and ability, watch the videos and complete that so it's off your plate, right? But I wanted to include that in the calendar schedule just so you get a sense of, planning ahead and what you can do, right? So that's, have you completed the quick participation quiz? And then for Friday, you'll submit your reading response post, but then you also need to make sure that you've responded to 2 of your classmates in Wednesday's writing journal, right? And then for Saturday and Sunday, I put submit your reading journal in the assignments area, and those will be for readings from weeks 3, 4, and this week, 3, 4, and 5. And then I just put a quick note, hey, check the syllabus for what's coming up, so that you get a view of what's going on in advance. And like I mentioned in the grades video, I talked a little bit about time management and what I do. So on Sundays, I go through my weekly schedule and make any updates based on any appointments that I have, or maybe I have a WebEx meeting and then a doctor's appointment, or whatever the case may be. Stuff is going to come up so that each week your calendar will look a little bit different. Just like for this week, we have a little bit more that's due. We have more work coming this week than we did last week because we have the writing journal that's gonna be coming due on Sunday. So hopefully you've been keeping up with that. But if you haven't, make sure that you're taking the time. Don't wait until the last minute. It's a lot of work to leave to the last minute. It's not a ton of work if you're keeping up with it as we go. Okay, but you do you. Your schedule is your own, right? So this is the updated calendar, which I have posted to D2L, along with the updated syllabus schedule with a few different changes. Nothing major, just some changes in wording. And again, I changed annotated bibliography here in place of the paper portfolio video. Okay. I want to just kind of briefly go to a website that is going to start to be really important and really helpful. This is something that I mentioned briefly in the video for the annotated bibliography assignment for this week. But the Purdue Online Writing Lab website, or the Purdue OWL, is going to be our go-to for a lot of MLA information. Our course text includes some of this, but in a pinch, this is just an amazing resource, and it's one that I encourage students to use, and I don't require you to buy a separate MLA text because we have this remarkable website that is trusted. A lot of composition, literature, history professors will refer their students to this website because there are not only MLA resources, there's a whole different section for APA, or American Psychological Association. So instead of buying a whole different text that is expensive, this is the resource I'm always going to encourage you to go to. So I'm going to pull that up so that I can just give you a glance. I want you to go in and poke around. I'm going to post the link to the Purdue OWL website in our weekly content area. So just start to get used to it. Start to play around. It's also going to be a link that's always going to be in the content overview area. So just be aware of that. So this is what the Purdue OWL website looks like. Some of you may be familiar with it, and if so, that's awesome. It can be a little overwhelming at first, y'all, because there's just so much information. They have videos, and on the left-hand side, this is all the information related to MLA. It's a lot, don't worry, and they have videos that keep popping up. So if you want just the general format, you can go to that section, and it talks about just what MLA is. And then there's also information about in-text citations, which is something that we've kind of started playing around with in terms of quotations. So there's information about what to do and how to do that here. You see some examples. Formatting quotations. And then we get into the works cited. So if we're referencing electronic sources, this gives you some information and examples. Again, it's a lot of information, and that's why I kind of want you to start getting, a sense of this early on, because we will use this quite a bit later. I want you to note there's also a whole section on APA. So if you're taking a history class or some other course that requires APA formatting, they have a whole section on that. It's wonderful, y'all. This is a great resource. Please start getting used to it. Okay, so this is the content overview area, not to be confused with our weekly modules in the table of contents. And this is what I wanted to show you in terms of, this is the updated syllabus with a few tweaks to the schedule. Again, nothing major. We have all the discussion and reading journal information, so definitely review the reading journal guidelines and video before your reading journal is due on Sunday. And then there's the template as well. I've also posted here, of course, the annotated bibliography example and guidelines, which I went over in the previous video that hopefully you will be viewing this week. Please view that just to get a sense of where we're headed. And then there's the annotated bibliography MLA template. I'm not going to go over that because it's pretty straightforward. It's just a template that kind of puts things together in a format that is related to our annotated bibliography assignment. But there's a whole new section that's entitled Mla Resources, and so there's a link to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website here, which we just visited. And then there's a link to open a document. It's the MLA handout, and it has been updated with the most recent MLA information. So just scroll through it when you have some time, just because sometimes that website can be a little overwhelming. Some of you may process information a bit differently, and this is a bit more pleasing to look at. So it just has, here's an example works cited, and on the left-hand side you see a bit of information and explanation about the different things that you're seeing on the page here, right? This is what a works cited page looks like. Okay, and then if you scroll up to the first page, that just gives you some background. So that's available, right here on D2L, and then of course our course readings I'll always update here. I'm going to go now to week number 5. We're looking in my account, so it may look a little bit different compared to what you see. The first thing you will see, of course, is our instructional video, which I'm taping right now, so I haven't posted it yet, but it will be the first thing. And then we'll have your week 5 participation quiz, which is really brief. I think this week there are, some true and false, and then one multiple choice that hopefully is just pretty obvious. So it should be a quick thing for you to complete, and it's done. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Here is an updated version of our syllabus with the schedule. Here is that updated calendar with the correct information. Here's the annotated bibliography informational video, and then the handout. And then this is a link to Ron Finley's TED Talk, and that's going to be something that we actually work with in both our writing journal for Wednesday and our reading response for Friday. So you don't have to watch it for what we work on Wednesday, but you will need to watch it and take your time with it for Friday. And y'all, please note that, and I put this in the information, there is some adult language used in the video. We are adults. I think we can handle it, but if you have littles running around, you may want to keep them out of earshot for some of this if you're concerned about language and whatnot. So just a heads up. But it's a great video that I really enjoy using and kind of working through with students because Finley is really approachable. He's talking about something that's really important, but in a way that, we can really kind of take in the information without feeling like we're being lectured to. So that's sometimes people miss the mark when they're doing talks such as that, but he does a really great job. So we're going to analyze it from some different angles. So first, our week 5 writing journal is a way of incorporating our reading from our course text, which is going to be distinguishing facts from misinformation. And then we're going to take what we learn, assess it, and then kind of work to then think about Finley's video as its own text. So I'm using text in air quotes, right? Because the video, even though it's not written, we're going to consider a text, which means you need an entry for your writing journal for that video. Just saying, okay? What I'm going to do is take a break and come back in a second video and talk through the writing journal assignment because we do have quite a bit to work through. Don't be overwhelmed by looking at this, y'all. It's going to be okay. And then I'll also talk about the reading response. So take a break, grab something to drink, to eat, and come back for the second video for week number 5.